Jordan is taking selfies for the gram. Our little setup. Uh-oh. The Ranger are about to go and kick us out. It's our podcast. You want to shout yourself? You want to shout out yourself?
Sure. I'm Ranger 19 over here at Dixon Lake. Just rolled up on these fine gentlemen, taking advantage of the nice view and the nice weather.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. And we're about to get out of here.
You're good, no worries.
Yeah?
I was just driving by. I was like, I gotta stop and see all sorts of interesting things.
Right.
Always gotta say something.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Awesome, guys.
I appreciate you.
Good one. Thanks for visiting.
Really nice person, guys. Really nice. Guys, just look at this freaking... Man, just look at this view. I mean,
People like that.
people like that, man.
Coming up, ask them what it's about, not kicking us out.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, be nice. You know what I'm saying? We have to constantly decide what to say in our head, because if you guys could hear an actual conversation between me and Jordan, we would go to jail.
Another car going by.
Hi, car.
He's got weeds all stuck up in his muffler. All right. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you want to start with what's going on, everyone? This is
What's going on? Bro. Hold on. Okay.
what's going on, everyone. This is Kenny and
Jordan.
this is the two Hermanos. The two Hermanos. Jordan, our second episode, bro.
Yep. So first one went great. We
First
got
one
a
was
bunch of
actually pretty
views.
good. Yep.
I wish we got a few more comments, but
That's what I'm saying. I mean, for you guys watching right now, in the beginning of the video, we want to say, if you guys have any questions for Jordan and I, please leave a comment down below, because, you know, we do read our comments. We do. I check them pretty much every single 10 minutes because, you know, Jordan and I are in charge of our social media a lot. So, if you guys have a question, please do leave a comment down below. And, I mean...
as you can tell, we're in a different setting.
That's what I'm saying. We're in a beautiful, if you know, you know. If you don't, too bad for you. You know what I'm saying? Jordan, tell me, man, how's your mood today, bro?
You know how my mood is, bro. my mood's good. Been going through it. Just got off of work, so
Right. Yeah, so Jordan just got off of work, and he drove straight here. I don't work today, but I do tomorrow. But, you know, appreciate Jordan to, you know, be here today after work and filming this podcast episode. I'm thinking of this scene here today is because, I mean, it's, first of all, the view is beautiful, the mountain and the lake, as you guys see on the B-roll. It was beautiful. And, you know,
it ties into
our topic.
For today.
Yep.
Being out in different settings, being out in open areas. Our topic today is vulnerability. And we're going to get down to what vulnerability means to us, what times that Kenny has experienced it, times that I have experienced it too.
Right.
And when you should be vulnerable, when you shouldn't be vulnerable.
Right.
And vulnerability within relationships.
Right, that's true.
So to start off, we're going to...
Yeah, let's start it off.
Just what is vulnerability?
So Jordan, would you like to give me a brief explanation of the definition of vulnerability?
So vulnerability is the quality of being easily hurt or you taken advantage of, basically.
Right.
So most people think of vulnerability as being weak.
Right.
And not keeping yourself contained around other people.
Right.
But
vulnerability.
Sorry,
Yeah, continue.
No, you're good. Vulnerability is much more than that.
Right.
Like, for example, when is the time that you have been vulnerable? Just generally in your life.
I do want to ask you a little bit before I answer that. Does vulnerability count as a form of being sensitive?
Sensitive,
Yeah.
like,
Does sensitive count as a form of vulnerability?
yeah, I think
Right.
so. I think being sensitive, um, we don't always have to put up walls every single time. And I think for a big thing for us, especially,
Right.
this is a podcast with two men on it. Just growing up, we're not going to be, we're going to have these ideals set into us that we have to be tough
Right.
and we have to be a certain way in public.
Right.
But that's not the case most of the time. And I
Right.
do
Right.
think sensitivity is part of being vulnerable.
Right. So, thank you for clarifying that. I want to start it off by telling you a story about the time that I felt vulnerable. Um, for the people watching, I'm a person that always shows people the strong side of me, but you know, I always tell myself this, like, I always show people the strong side of myself, but at the end of the day, when I'm by myself and I mean, and feeling those emotion that rushing through my body, I'm a scared little man, man. I'm a scared little man. You know what I mean? Um,
Well,
I
well, for like example, like with you like sing, you
right,
do all this other,
right.
you play instruments.
Yep, and I get what you're about to say. Yeah, feeling those emotions
Mm,
and experiencing those kind of uh, ups and downs is what helps me write my songs, right?
yeah.
Yep, and I feel like I'm a really emotional person. And I'm not gonna hide it on this podcast just because we're here to share our story. I'm very emotional. Like, I would cry when um, somebody I love do something or achieve something that I always want, or simply like I said, my mom,
Mm,
she been living in Vietnam and she would come here to travel, and she had problem with her visas, which pushed her chances of coming here and travel a lot harder.
yeah.
And the past summer, she got her visa, and she finally be able to come here with me.
Oh, that's
At
cool.
Yeah, at that moment when she came out the embassy, me and my dad was waiting in a coffee shop in Vietnam, and she said, and she walked in the coffee shop acting all sass and shit. But then when we went to the bathroom and almost leave, she said, "Kenny, I got the visa." And at that moment, in the hallway of a cafe, I just start breaking down. You know what I mean? I start hugging my mom, like crying, bawling my eyes out and shit. Like, those are kind of emotion that I never express.
Well, those are also emotions that you don't have to hide.
Right,
There are times for those emotions. There are times
right,
to not show those emotions too.
right,
Like in serious situations, maybe you
right,
shouldn't just be hysterical, and keep yourself composed.
right.
But showing that emotion with your mom and stuff, that is a perfect example of when vulnerability is
Right, right, right.
acceptable.
And I do want to tell a story about a time when I'm being vulnerable, not in a so good way. Um, I'm a person that have a very strong arguing point.
Mhm.
Like, even though I'm wrong, let's just say I'm wrong, right? But I'm hurting at the time, I will find a way to completely destroy a person that I'm debating with or arguing with without even thinking about, am I hurting that person, or what is my what is my accomplishment throughout all of these arguments. And I would just
Yeah.
ended up putting up a shield and saying stuff that I don't even mean, and I would hurt them, right? Like, I would argue with people and just put up such a strong point, like start at one point it feels like I'm insulting them. I'm not even like trying to give out my point.
Yeah.
I just trying to win an argument, and I feel like that's a bad thing right there. Like, I'm talking about my mom and me being emotional as a good thing. That is the bad thing of me being vulnerable right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those are the things that I gotta work on. And I do want to ask, what is one time, same for you, can you give me an example of one time you being vulnerable in a positive and a negative way?
So, through throughout my life, like I talked about on the last podcast,
Right.
I grew up with trauma,
Right.
and a time in a person's life when they're completely vulnerable, have no other option but to be vulnerable, is when they're children, because
Right.
they don't know any better, and they're just living life with everything coming at them. And for me, since like certain traumas started that young,
Right.
I didn't have that chance to be vulnerable. So instantly, from like the age of 5, I was putting up walls, instantly, and I wanted to be vulnerable with like people like my mom and like stuff like my dad.
Right.
And most of the time, it was easy to be vulnerable with those people when we were in settings where it was just us two.
Right.
Dude, I burped. No, I'm just kidding. I did burp, but so since it was such a young age that I was putting up walls, and that isn't something that men should do or anyone should do.
Right.
But it happens a lot with men just generally throughout their lifetime growing up, that you're going to put up walls to
Right.
give this strong persona that you're doing okay.
Right. A truck just passed by us for everyone watching.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So we are going to get into this, but since
Right.
it is my first time I felt vulnerable, I'm just going to start with this for my example, and
Right.
that is relationships. So we
Right.
are going to get into relationships. I'll just talk very small about it, but first time I was vulnerable was within my first relationship, because I feel like I wanted something that I never got, which was love from my parents and stuff,
Right.
but
And you trying to feel that love, filling the void.
through someone else. Yeah. So
Right.
it wasn't true vulnerability, but it was something else I was searching for. And through my first relationship, I did feel that connection, and
Right.
I was able to give that vulnerable part of myself to that person.
Right.
And for me, when it was bad is when that vulnerability was taken away, because when you're with that first person, or with that first person that lets you be vulnerable,
Right.
when you break up or don't see each other anymore, or depending on the situations that each person has with their first relationships, it breaks you down even more, because you were completely vulnerable with this person, and then you put more walls up until you get to your next relationship, and it takes longer for them to break those walls down.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
so
So.
for me, it was good in the beginning
Right.
of my first relationship.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, it not against this person at all,
Right.
but just personal issues because of my family and my trauma.
Right.
It made it harder to be more vulnerable. So I didn't do things that I do now. I paint. I want to start getting into instruments.
Right.
I'm getting into instruments. I'm an
Painting more.
artist,
Like you said.
painting,
Yeah. Tattooing.
tattooing. Yes, I'm tattooing on myself. I've done 8
Speaking
already.
of tattoo, Jordan, would you like to show the people that tattoo that you got right there?
Yeah, I did
For
a
FYI,
spider,
those are the tattoos that Jordan did himself.
and I did a butterfly. Yeah,
I
I have
mean,
a lot on
I
my
really
legs.
want tattoo, but
Your
if
parents
I get a
okay?
tattoo right, no. Actually, my parents are really open about tattoo, right? But if I get a tattoo right now, my grandma is gonna get a knife and chop my head off. I promise you that. She even make me promise her. She
You'll
said,
never get a tattoo.
no. She said, don't ever get no damn tattoo until I die. I was like, okay, grandma. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Okay, back to what you were
all right.
back to what you were saying. So you said the last relationship makes you vulnerable. Tell me about the insecurity that makes you feel vulnerable.
For my insecurities that I really don't want to open up with most people is just my past. I haven't told a lot of people about my past. I just told you recently about my past,
Right.
and then I said it on the podcast, and that's not even the full depth of everything that has happened in the past. And I've only told a few people within my life about it,
Right.
and it's just it's not a thing that most people want to talk about, especially when something
No, I
has
get
happened
it.
to them. And even like with you, you've had depressive states, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You haven't wanted to tell people,
Dude,
right?
absolutely.
You never want to tell people.
And it's not, and you're not the problem because of that. It's okay to not tell people. It's
Yeah.
okay to put a shoe up for yourself. It's okay to, be vulnerable like that sometimes, like we said, our topic. But I feel like those kind of things makes you who you are. As long as you know who you are, you acknowledge the fact that, okay, I'm having a past like that, or you acknowledge that, oh, I'm hurt, or I have feelings too, or I'm feeling emotional sometimes. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not entirely a bad thing. Like I said, there's a good impact and a bad impact, right? So tell me about the time when you're being vulnerable in a positive way in relationship, though, because we're talking about relationship right now.
A time that I've been positive is,
I know it's hard.
yeah, it's just hard like thinking of like specific times,
Uh-huh.
but I like to be a giver within relationships, especially in the beginning. Um, I'm I'm all in or nothing within relationships. So for some people that's hard because especially at a young age you don't want to stick completely to one relationship, and
I get
you
it.
want to experience other things, and that's normal. That's completely normal. Most people aren't going to just stick to one relationship.
Right.
But times I'm completely vulnerable is, and I'm fine with it, is when I trust this person to the fullest extent and I tell them all about my past. I usually just tell them when like I'm feeling down or what's getting at me throughout the day, because it's a really hard thing for me to do.
Yeah.
And for most people, it's a really hard thing for them to do. It's
Heck
hard
yeah.
to break down those walls and just let someone know exactly what's going on in your head in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like for you, have you been like in relationships? Have you been just completely open?
Actually, I like the point that you just made. I like the point at being vulnerable and trust someone and tell them completely about yourself and tell them about like how your day goes and stuff like that, because I feel like I said about trust in the first episode, trust should go both way.
It should
Right?
go both ways, yeah.
And for me, trust has not been my best friend for a long time. I think I've developed some sort of trust issue throughout my childhood, throughout the course of me growing up, me meeting new people, because I was in the show business, like the business or the entertainment business for, pretty earlier on in my career and in my life, and that is the kind of business where there's a saying for it, and Drake actually have a song for it. It's no friend in the industry. Right? People will buddy you in front of your face. They will act all friendly and stuff in front of your face. They will, oh, this is my person, this is my friend, but they stab you
That's
in your back.
yeah, and then that's why it's so hard to be vulnerable with a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, to me, it's hard for me to even trust someone, right? But I did gave my trust to someone in my past relationship. I trust them. I tell them about my days. They know everything about me. But I mean, inside me at the time, I do feel a little bit like betting on the situation, because I don't know if this person is going to take what I'm telling them and use that against me or
Yeah,
no.
just feel like a little disconnected
Yeah.
from everything.
And then, I mean, like, I do give my all, but sometimes I get scared.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm afraid.
Yeah, and
So
that's a normal thing
yeah,
because you're letting that person know exactly who you are, and
yeah,
sometimes that can be completely scary.
yeah.
But
Because you know what I'm saying, like it could either go like south or it could go completely north. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So um, I mean, not just letting that person know about everything about me,
mhm.
but I also let them saw my emotion. Like I also express my emotion in front of people. I always try to keep a poker face, but with this person, I used to show emotion. I used to cry. I used to laugh. You know, I let them see it. I expressed it. So, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I mean, it was good. I'm not gonna sit here and bash them. You know, but you know, do I regret it? I don't think so, because I get to show my emotion.
So I want to take off what you just said right there.
Right?
I don't think we should regret anything
That's what I'm saying. I like the
that
point.
because mistakes make us who we are, and through all of it, we're gonna learn.
Right.
No, the biggest mistake people have is they want to be perfect. They want to be
Right.
completely perfect, but that's really unrealistic. So you should be focused on the here and now, or maybe tomorrow. But some things just aren't going to be reached in this lifetime.
Right.
And that's why you should enjoy the little things now. And being vulnerable doesn't just mean being vulnerable to another person. Like, I feel like the person you should be most vulnerable with is yourself. Because as soon as you start putting up those walls, you're going to forget who you are internally. And you're putting up those walls consistently for other people, but then you start putting up for yourself.
Right.
And that's when it becomes like a spiral and it just keeps going down and down and down.
Yeah. And to connect on your point, you said people want to be perfect nowadays.
Mhm.
I think it's a complete bullshit because I feel like once when you try something and you fail, people are so afraid to fail
Yeah.
that they don't even start, that they don't even attempting it. I watched David Goggins. You know who David Goggins is.
I love
And
David
this
Goggins.
is,
He's like,
I love him.
he has a great mentality.
Yeah. And he said, when you're doing something and you fail and you do it again, you're attempting.
You're attempting, yes.
Motherfucker, you're not fail. You know what I'm saying? He said, motherfucker, you not fail. Get over do it. That's what he said.
Yeah.
When you do something and you fail and you continue to, repeat it and try to do it right, you're attempting.
You're attempting. That doesn't mean you lost yet.
That's what I'm
Because
saying.
you're still going.
Yeah, as soon as you still wake up, as long as you still trying is amazing, bro.
Mhm.
It's amazing, the art of trying. Like you just constantly figuring out ways to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's a
Yeah.
good thing.
And
It's not-
obviously you can push yourself to the extreme, and it's not going to be good if you keep pushing and
Right.
it's blocking out everything else from your life. But just trying every single day, because like you said before, people are so scared to even take that first step. It's because they don't want to fail. They don't want to fail. They don't want people to see them as a failure.
That's what I'm saying.
But as long as you keep going, you're not going to fail. And at least you know to yourself that you'll always be a winner.
That's
Like-
facts. Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, and speaking of that, attempting and trying and failing, trying so hard at what you do, I do want to ask a question. When is one time you are doing something that you love and you're hearing opinion from people that makes you feel vulnerable, that makes you just feel so sensitive, like getting you all shield up? You get what I'm saying? Like, when is one time that you feel that way?
So,
Like something you're really passionate about, and then someone give you advice, or someone say something to you, and you feel like, ugh, you know what I mean? You're putting a shoe up, and you're like, why would you? You know what I'm saying? Like, when is one time you feel that way?
a moment for me was when we actually had football.
Football?
Yeah. So when we were playing football together, I was quarterback. Well, someone was trying to dig at my ego, and bring me down because they wanted to be higher up on the team. But I didn't even have the that idea or thought of wanting to bring anyone else down on the team because we're a team. Like
That's what
we're
I'm
supposed
saying.
to stick together.
I
And
love the mentality.
yeah, and it got in my head, and eventually I was pushed out from quarterback because I just kept fucking up, honestly. And for me, that made me put up more walls just in a general setting because I was given that position to help the team, and then because someone else on my team was bringing me down, it just took me out of that mindset
Right.
and made me more closed up.
Right. Right.
For for you, same question. Have you, anytime that someone brought you down, made you less vulnerable and like had you put walls up?
Um. Yes. Um. I've experienced this. I think like countless of time over the period, over a long period, right?
Mm.
Like ever since I started doing in an entertaining business.
Yeah.
I would go to these academy that teaches you sing, and you know they're like the manager too. So whenever there's show, they'll let you know and stuff. And my peers, actually, the kids at that time, I was kid, man. I was like shit, what, 10 years old? I was hella young. I was a baby, right? And they saw that I would start peaking, like I would start getting better.
Yeah.
I
Oh, you're
developed,
reaching like
yeah,
your
I
peak.
developed a personality. I developed a charisma, and whenever I do show, I would get the crowd going.
Mm.
So that parent actually go behind my mom's back, and they talk so bad about us. They start like pulling strings and stuff, to the point that that's why I developed the trust issue in the first place, because I saw my mom going through the emotion. I saw myself going through the emotion. I was like, that's the first time I ever know what backstabbing is. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my first time I ever experienced the word backstabbing. So at first I was young, so I couldn't feel anything yet. But as older as I get,
Well, it sticks with you, like
yeah,
internally.
I start
So
I start feeling the like like up until now, like sports. I play sports, and the jealousy in the team sometimes is a real thing.
mm.
They try to discredit you.
Yeah.
They're trying to despise you. They're trying to spice you. They look down on you. Um, it doesn't hurt me, but sometimes thinking about the fact that, oh, people is actually like that, it hurts me.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? Like I was like, damn, do do they really do they really looked at me that way?
No, I don't think they do. I think they are just trying to bring you down so
Yeah,
they can get ahead.
yeah, and
But in the end, it doesn't even
yeah,
matter.
you never, all I hear is, all I hear is talking down from the little man. You will never hear, someone that's standing above you talking down on you. You only
Someone
hear
that's
stuff from.
humble, someone that's I guess stoic in a
That's what
way.
I'm
You will
saying.
never hear them talking down to you at
Yeah,
all.
just like when you're trying to play a piano for a pianist, like a theater or an opera pianist, he's not gonna laugh at you because you
Mm.
played a wrong note. When you're trying to cook for a professional chef or Michelin star restaurant chef,
Yeah.
they're not gonna go and laugh at your face for trying to make a fried egg. You're not gonna get laughed at by a
Unless it's
musician.
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay. He'll call you a dumbass cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
But yeah, the moral of the story that I'm trying to tell here is, I always hear the I always hear people trying to belittle me.
Yeah.
So that's why I develop a shield. So whenever I'm in an argument, man, instantly I put up that shield, and it's a very bad thing of me, and I feel like I should work on, because I'm not gonna name names here, but I used to get in arguments with, well, I was getting in, not used to. It was very recently, right? I got into argument with people, and people that I really care about, by the way, and they say something that I don't agree with, and I just start putting these shields up, and the way I attack them, man, I didn't even think about it when I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? And then when the argument is farly gone, I look back. I was like, man, why? It's not worth it to insult the people that care about you.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very little of me to do that to them. Especially they got my back for years, man, and they ready to do anything for me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the thing I need to work on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's something that's really hard for all of us to work on.
Right.
I've been working on it too. Just being more considerate with other people.
Right.
Something that they don't agree with that I'm doing, then I try to be more understanding.
Right.
And I won't let it really get me down at all.
Right.
But I'm also open to them about how I'm feeling about certain situations.
And for some of us, the reason why we being vulnerable is because our ego.
Yeah.
Sometimes our ego gets in the way, and ego is a good thing, not a bad thing. But you have to know when to use ego, and you know when to put ego aside.
Yeah.
For me, I learned how to use my ego. And I'm still a student. I'm still in a process, man. I'm not saying I'm perfect because sometimes I mess up so bad. Sometimes I feel like, oh, fuck, I get my ego again in the way again. You get what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I think a great combination with vulnerability is confidence.
right.
I feel like you should be confident like 99% of the time.
Right.
But it should really be coming from here. It shouldn't just be putting on a front. Because if you're going out doing a show or playing like an instrument or something for
Right.
someone, you want to give it your all.
Right.
And you should enjoy it without having to put on a fake face and let the audience think that you're just doing a great job without portraying how you actually feel within that moment.
Right.
Like within our first episode, we were both
Yeah, we were pretty
nervous.
nervous. We didn't know what to talk about.
We didn't know what to
because-
talk about, and we prepared.
Yeah, and we have to constantly decide what to say in our head, because if you guys could hear an actual conversation between me and Jordan, we would go to jail.
This is gonna be one of your classic beep. We should put that there. That'd be good.
And like we said, the first episode was good, but it wasn't great.
It was good, wasn't great. We're
Yeah.
starting a new thing.
But we will
That's-
never get to second episode
Yeah.
or third episode or fourth episode without the first one.
without the first one and opening up your vulnerability to even start.
Right. And for me and Jordan, we didn't sit down and analyze everything so carefully. We didn't sit down like, hey, we should do podcasts at exactly 30 minutes, or we didn't do any of that thing, guys. We just start. Let's go. Boom.
But we do want to make sure it's good quality for all of
Yeah.
you.
I mean, we
and-
did have preparation. We do have a lot of preparation.
A lot of preparation, but we kind of just
Yeah.
started right up.
Yeah, but our preparation is necessary because we want the quality of the podcast to be good.
Mhm.
We didn't sit there and just analyze like no, we just started.
Like-
We get right to it. You know what I'm saying?
Like with this episode, the setting, it was
yeah, it
last
was
minute.
It was last minute, guys. We were supposed to do it in the studio, but I figure I've been having this vision of doing an outdoor podcast because I feel like when you're outdoor, you start like combining yourself with the nature. You look at views. It's easier for you to open up.
Yeah,
That's what
and
I feel
a
like.
big thing with vulnerability,
Yeah.
don't care where you are. If you're doing something that you love, you want to show to the world,
Right.
just do it.
Yeah, and
No matter what people say, just do it.
We didn't make a shitty episode, but we didn't make a great episode. What we did in episode 1 is we tried. That's our attempt to be great, because there ain't no such thing as a great episode or a perfect episode. There's going to be flaws, and same goes for everything else. You know
Same
what I'm
goes for
saying?
every single person out there.
Yeah.
And all it takes is that first step.
Right.
That first moment when you start thinking of a project or an event or something that you want to do,
Right.
you should do it.
Exactly.
Don't wait until tomorrow to start. Don't wait till the next day to start. Just do it.
Yeah.
Because then it's just going to be a constant cycle of
Of thinking and not
thinking.
doing.
Thinking and not
Right.
doing and not being vulnerable.
Right. And I feel like you said, vulnerable comes with confidence.
Yes.
And you're not going to get confidence without preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I treat everything I do, if I want to be good at it, I treat it as a sport.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know about you, I don't know about everyone else, but doing all this, I would sit at home and I would do research on podcast industry. I would do research in how to make clips, how to go viral, how to edit, how to do lighting and stuff like that. But preparation, to me, I treat those things that I do as a repetition,
Mm-hmm.
right? So as much rep as you put on, just like I play basketball, as much shot that I put up, I'm gonna feel so much more confidence because it feels like another reps when you're doing, just say, this podcast, setting up the camera. It feels like another time. You done that 1,000 times before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I treat everything that I do as a sport, and I try to be as competitive as I could, because this is an opinion based sport.
Yeah.
Right? This podcast entertaining industry is an opinion based sport. We sit here, we are being loved by the thought and perceptions of people,
Yeah.
right? And I feel like the more you put into it, the more you get out of it.
Yeah, and some people might say that it's just a podcast. It's not
Right.
something that's like bigger. It's not like we're trying to be artists or
Yeah.
like entertainers. I mean, I guess this is entertainment in a
Uh-huh.
way, but it's not. It was out of our comfort zone to do this.
Exactly.
So that is where our vulnerability is going to be shown. And I think a big thing with people, a lot of people, now that we have technology and the possibility for this, is comfortability.
Right?
So being comfortable in every setting, and everyone just wants to be comfortable. And I don't think you should. I think you should go
That's what I'm
out of your
saying.
comfort zones.
I think
Not to the exact extreme, but just taking that first step. Taking that first step, and
yeah,
you might do something that you absolutely love.
that's what I'm saying, man. The comfort zone, man. I love that topic so much. I love talking about vulnerable in your own comfort zone, because I didn't know it's a real thing until I grow up, until I get older. Not grow up, older, getting older. I have encountered with people that are old enough to be my mom and my dad, and they not even one stepped out of their comfort zone. They talked about the thing that they experienced years ago when they were a freaking teenager, bro. They never stepped out. I was like, whoa. You never go and touch some ground. You never go outside and experience things. Wow. Like, I couldn't even fathom the fact that those people stayed in the same freaking place for years. I was like, dang.
Yeah, like you wanna go on a hike all the way to the top of a certain
Yes.
mountain, do it. You wanna go to a bar, you wanna party, do that. Just do stuff that makes you happy.
Yes, and the amount of people that are so comfortable in their own little bubble, it's absolutely hard to believe.
Yeah.
I can't believe how many people were like, oh, but what if things like this, like that? Who cares? Do it. Try it.
Yeah, and
Dude.
we're not saying like each person should just immediately they have to do this. No, it's all about the work that
Right.
leads up to it.
Mhm.
And I feel like each person should work on themselves to be able to do something that's out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you have like mental health issues or not laughing at mental health issues, but
Okay.
Kenny just burped. But yeah, if you have mental health issues and you can't do something like that, obviously, then don't. Then
Right.
don't. And just live your life how you want to live it. But for everyone else that has been thinking about a subject, has been thinking about wanting to do this or do that. Sorry, I kind of stuttered there. Let me. For anyone that has been wanting to do this, wanting to do that, then do it.
Yeah.
Just take the time to gather yourself. If you have problems with anxiety, take it slow. But
Right.
but still, you should take that next step because it might be something that you absolutely love and could be a career for your life. It could be just something you master within the future. And no one else, you don't need this validation from everyone else.
I felt like, because I know that at some point in time, both you and I have, experienced stuff going on with our mental health.
Yeah.
For you, what was it?
For me,
It was anxiety.
it was everything.
It was everything.
So because of my past, I completely shut off all my emotions. Dude, I'm not joking. Throughout all of high school, all of middle school, all of elementary I was still a little young, so still figuring stuff out.
Right.
I had no emotions.
No, I can
Zero.
tell. I can
was
tell.
and everyone was like, "Oh, he's so quiet," and like shut off, and that is true. And I still am now because I'm working on myself. But I was completely shut off because you want to let these people walk by.
It's okay. Just keep talking.
Okay. I was completely shut off. See, their vulnerability. I got to keep going.
Hey guys. Throughout your childhood, you are completely blanked out. No
Yeah,
emotion?
sorry. We had to check on the cameras really quick, but yeah, I had no emotions throughout my childhood. Like completely, there was a point in my life because of everything I went through, I cut everything off. I told myself in my mind, I'm going to cut everything off, put a million walls up, and I was going to put up all these walls and just completely cut myself off from everyone. And just recently have I started allowing myself to feel things. And
Jordan is right, guys. I knew Jordan pretty much for his whole high school life, and I mean, we did talk, and I could feel the deepness of Jordan's when I talked to him. But outside, he would put up a shield, like a face mask.
Mhm.
And same goes for me. I did, I saw you make an effort in communicating with people. You never trying to bash people or push them away, like don't talk to me, don't bother me. It's never none of that for you. But for you, I saw that at the end of the day, because after school people would hanging out with their peers and stuff, but I just saw Jordan took his backpack and left. And
Yeah.
I know that this dude is lonely. And we did play team sport. I mean, we ran track together, we played soccer together. Jordan just didn't play basketball, but we played everything else together, volleyball.
Yeah. Dude, volleyball was so fun.
Academic league. I mean, and I feel like Jordan is there for the group setting, but after that he's out.
Yeah.
Like mentally, he'll check out after that. So it's a real thing, guys. Like taking care of your mental health and feeling vulnerable and sensitive is good. Cause you guys gotta understand. At the time, Jordan was 10th grade, man. I mean, take it easy on the kid. You know what I'm saying? But I have seen the growth in him so much, from not talking at all, keeping a poker face, to now sitting here in front of cameras.
Yeah.
And not afraid to share his story to people.
Yeah, I'm just playing catch up at this point.
That's a big jump, though. That's
is
a big jump.
yeah.
For most people, they would shut their mouth their whole life. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big jump for you. Sorry, this is our script.
It's our cheat sheet.
So it's a good thing, bro. It's a good thing to open up. It's a good thing to acknowledge those emotion, and it's okay to have mental health issue.
It is okay to have. Everyone's going to be depressed at one point in their life. They're going to have anxiety towards something. Even if you aren't diagnosed with anxiety, something's going to stress you out.
Yeah, and for me too.
Yeah.
I do want to share my story. Like, I play sport,
Mhm.
and I always have this constant weight on my shoulder. Like, man, people are relying on me. Like,
Mhm.
I gotta realize that people out here relying on me to help our team win.
Yeah.
And I always have what they call performance anxiety. Before games, my heart would start beating boom, 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 boom so fast. Um, all the way when I was a player towards this year when I'm coaching. Before
Mhm.
the game, my heart would pound so hard. Sometimes I couldn't breathe because I always feel if we lose, then it's my fault. But if we win, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
I always feel that way. And I think it's a good thing for me because I'm taking that responsibility, but I need to chill out on that a little bit more. Like I said, we're not perfect here, guys. I admit it, I'm not perfect. I get performance anxiety, man. Before I go on stage,
Yeah.
I would get so worried. My palm would start sweating, my armpits start sweating. Um, like my voice starts shaking. I have to do breathing exercise to calm myself down.
Mhm.
But you know, the thing that I never did is I never back down.
Mhm.
I'm always like, okay, I'm worried, I'm scared, I'm afraid, but fuck it, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's how I was when, like, with all those sports, every single one. So nervous
Yeah.
to even when the game started till like the end. I was nervous.
Yeah.
If I was like serving in volleyball or something,
Yeah.
I was nervous.
Yeah, you're
But-
always afraid to mess up.
Yeah,
That's
but
why.
but then you keep a straight
That's
face
why
on
you.
the whole time.
But we always keep going.
Yeah.
We always like fuck it. Let's keep going. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's what I say. The art of preparation and build confidence affects so much to your vulnerability, because when you put up so much repetition, you've done that 1,000 times. You're not gonna get worried no more.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
and some of them might be asking, then how? How do I not be vulnerable? First step, when you start feeling like that, just notice it. Just notice it.
Thank you. Yep.
That's the first step. Just notice you're feeling anxiety in that moment, and then just keep pushing. Just keep pushing yourself, even if it's just a little bit.
Yeah, man.
Some people do have anxiety that pushes them over the edge with stage fright and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but even then, just notice it and try to work through it.
Yeah, for you guys watching, man, it's gonna get so hard.
It is going to get hard.
It's gonna get so hard. And for me and Jordan, it didn't get no easier, man. We still going through it. Jordan is only 22,
21.
21, and I'm only 20, man. I'm not even 20 yet. I'm turning 20 soon. We're going through it, guys. We are in the prime time. Like Jordan and I about to enter our prime. We're not even on our prime yet.
Yeah, and
It's going through we're going through hard times, dude.
like you said, there's people older than us that are still dealing with vulnerability
Yes.
issues.
And vulnerability issues, and guess what they have at the end of the day when they're that old? Regrets.
They always have regrets.
You will look back and you're like, man, I could have done that, but you never did.
when they're 30, when they're 40.
Yes.
They're like, I should have done that when I was 20.
That's what
Or
I'm
I should
saying.
have done that when I was 30. When they're 40,
Mm-hmm.
you should just go for it.
For you guys at home watching, please, if you have a plan right now, if you want to start a podcast like us, if you want to start working out, if you want to lose weight, anything at all. I know I'm crashing out right now. I'm just really passionate when I'm speaking like about these kind of stuff. Just start it, guys. You got this.
Do everything that you're passionate about. Yeah, it's so much easier to judge what other people are doing. You can sit behind a screen, judge this person for what they're doing, but they're being vulnerable. They're
Yes.
taking that step. Or
And guess what? You judging them, but at the end of the day, you're watching and they're doing it.
yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
and maybe you might be judging because you want to do that or you can't do that. But the thing is, you should believe in that person. And the most important thing is believe in yourself. That's the person you should believe in from when you were born until you die. From when you have consciousness until you die.
I love that. I love that. Since birth, gang.
Says birth.
Man.
But yeah, it should. You're gonna just have yourself from the moment you're here till the moment you're not.
Yeah.
So that's the person you should be believing in.
And I love.
And don't let your vulnerability hold you back. It shouldn't be seen as something weak. it should be one of your strengths.
Yeah, and I love that point that you just make. Confidence. Be confident in yourself, because I do want to share a little story. Man, for you guys that don't know me, everyone around me,
This is going to be a long episode because it's so good.
I know it's so freaking good, dude. Everyone around me, even though they love me, one thing they would always call me, they would call me a cocky bastard. But guess what? The way I'm being, do I know that I'm cocky? Heck yeah, I do. I know that I'm cocky, dude. I know the shit that I say. It's sometimes it's so hard for people to accept it. Like, oh my god, this guy is so cocky. But no, I'm putting the word I'm saying. I'm putting it out there to the universe. I'm instilling that unshakable confidence about me, dude. Last year I played basketball. One game I stepped in, I scored 20 points. The next game I got 0, dude. And guess what? Next day I'm walking around, I'm like, I'm dropping 40 next time. I'm dropping 50 next time. Doesn't matter. I'm still the best player. Yada da da da. I might sound like a fool, but guess what? I'm not saying those stuff to people. I'm saying that stuff to myself, because I'm trying to apply this blind confidence. I always have this blind confidence about myself, dude. And I'm a nobody yet, but I always know that someday I'll be somebody. I'll walk around, I carry myself like I'm somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because one day I know for sure I'll be somebody. You
gotta
got what I
fake
mean?
it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it, just like that. Yeah, that's one way to look at it too. You know what I mean? Like, always have that blind. For everyone at home, please have that blind confidence about yourself. You feel like you're that dude? Okay, start acting like it. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you're that girl? Start acting like it.
Yeah, we're not saying to be somebody that you're not, but just amplify who you are.
Yes, just be yourself.
Be
You know what I
yourself.
mean? Jordan, how would you take vulnerability, just for its sake, good or bad? How will you take it and apply it to? How could you take it and apply it to make yourself better?
I would just start leaning into it more. What I want to do. And I do have a lot of plans for the future for things that are way out of my comfort zone, completely out of my comfort zone, that I'm going to start doing. I can't say on this podcast, but because it involves
Yeah.
people personal to me. But yeah, I'm just going to start leaning a lot more into my vulnerability, and not as a bad thing. I will notice when it is taking over too much, or when I start putting up too many walls covering my vulnerability, but it should be even, straight down the middle, and that's what I'm
Right.
leaning towards.
Right. No, I love it, man. I love it.
Not leaning with my emotions,
Just
not
accept it how it is.
just accept it how it is.
I like it, and I feel like applying vulnerability to your life in general, you will show people that's part of who you are. You have an ego, that's perfect. You instilling confidence in yourself, that's amazing. And I feel like,
Really quickly, we're also not saying to put other people down.
yeah, please don't.
Don't put other people down. If you have an ego, that's good.
That's amazing to have
That's
an ego,
good.
but please
but
don't try to.
don't try to put other people down, because then you're just going to create problems for other people.
Yeah.
But just be that way with yourself. Change yourself.
Yeah.
Make yourself better.
And if you're gonna talk shit, please don't talk it to other people. Please approach it like you're talking to yourself. Because once you're talking shit, when you let it out, you better go and prove it. You better go prove that you're that person that you yapping about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So-
and if for another thing to not put up more walls and be more vulnerable, don't try to belittle people, obviously. Oh, and if someone says something about you, to not put up more walls and be more vulnerable, don't care.
Yeah.
Don't care about what they say. They say something about you. If I was saying something about Kenny, like, did you see how he played basketball the other day? He was so shit.
Yeah, he got 0
points.
points.
And if he heard that, use it to make yourself better. Just be
Yeah.
like, okay, then I'm gonna get more on the next time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make this bring me down, because that person that's trying to bring me down, they're still working out stuff that they haven't even understood.
Yeah, man. And just remember this one, guys. You will never hear bad stuff towards you from the people that are above you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to keep
Yeah,
quoting.
if you see someone that is vulnerable, what are you gonna think about them? You're gonna be like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be like, oh, that person is stupid, unless they're doing something that's like cringy or
Yeah.
whatever. But if someone's being vulnerable, showing themselves, someone like is at an opera or something, you're gonna be like, that's really cool, or you envy them for what they're doing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you're not gonna bring them down.
And I hate quoting people, but I gotta quote this one from Drake. He said, "All I hear is plug talk coming from middleman. All I hear is tall tales coming from little man." And I like that. You will hear the hate, hatred, doubts are amazing, because I think I experience it a lot.
Yeah.
Like doubts, hatred,
Yeah, we all experience doubt
hate.
all
You know
the
what I'm
time.
saying? Like when I torn my ACL in the summer playing basketball, and I have something planned out for my basketball future, but I torn it, so everything have to be pushed back, and I hear a lot of doubts. I mean, coming from my own family, yes, coming from the doctor, you have to chill out on a sport. You might not ever be able to play sport again. My peers said, maybe you should quit. Maybe basketball's not for you. It's okay. I like it. Watch this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, I take everything that people tell me with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
People having their own opinion is okay. I don't mind. But watch what I can do. Because whatever you say about me, I remember it.
Yeah, and don't just listen to the negative comments someone has about you. What you should be looking for is something that is motivational to you, something that is helpful, a positive comment. Because then it won't bring you down.
Yeah,
It'll
man.
make you just feel better about
Mhm.
yourself too.
Yeah.
Instead of just listening to that one comment, instead of the 100
Yeah.
that can help you.
Exactly. And I feel like when everyone is hating on you, or when everyone is commenting on what you do, having opinions, it's amazing because you're doing something right if you hate you. You're doing something very wrong if nobody gives a shit about what you're doing. You know what I mean? So please take it in a positive way and use that to implement it on yourself.
Yeah.
You know? Anything else?
I think this was a good episode.
This is a
Perfect views.
This is a good
Perfect views.
episode.
This is a perfect spot.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
look at the views right now, guys.
Got nature.
I mean, look at this.
There's a lake
guys.
right there.
Yeah, we
There's a
can
lake
go.
right
We
there.
go skinny dipping.
Yeah, but there's a lake right there. There's houses in a
So
vulnerable setting.
in a vulnerable setting with
Like
two
a
picnic
mountain
chairs.
lion could come out and just kill us. That's how vulnerable we are right now.
Yeah, and we could eat. Okay. Make sure you guys follow our Instagram at the two Hermanos, and make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Follow us on TikTok.
Follow us on TikTok.
We're gonna be posting shorts there. We're gonna be posting shorts on YouTube also. Check those out, and we're going to be uploading this one pretty
Yeah.
soon.
And
within
please
the next
follow
week.
our Spotify.
Yes.
We leave the link, everything below. It's fire listening on Spotify the other day, going to the gym. Follow our personal Instagram. This is my Instagram. And Jordan.
This is mine right here.
And please hit the subscribe button. Turn on the bell notification so you never miss a single of our quality episode.
This was a good episode.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. Make sure you leave comments for this episode. And if you have any for the last episode, we can read them on the next one.
Yeah, guys,
But
please leave questions
comments
down below. Comments, questions down below, or you can DM us on our Instagram. You can email us. I have the email down there. Everything is down below. Please go check us out, and we'll see you when we see you.
See you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.
Bro, that was fucking good.